Coming by. I don't want to take out your car. Don't move the 2x4. Thank you so much. Look at this beautiful courtyard here in the back. Did someone finally buy it? Oh, yay. Thank you so much. Here comes Seabiscuit in slow-mo. So once we cross the street here, we're leaving the French Quarter and we're entering the Boulevard Treme. It is the oldest African-American neighborhood in the United States. This is our Seabiscuit moment, and we're going to slow down right here. That was it, y'all. She's slowing down. All right, go around it. Here we go. All right, slow down. I can't talk this fast. The Boulevard Treme was the oldest African-American neighborhood in the United States. Here in Louisiana, it was very different. We had the Code Noir, which meant black code, but it meant all races had to be Catholic. Free people of color and slaves. Now, free people of color did not have to walk around with papers like they did in New England. They owned 1/3 of the French Quarter. That's $45 million worth of real estate today. They had their own business, their own schools, they own plantations, and yes, they also own slaves. The slaves themselves, you were not allowed to mistreat them, and if you did, they could take it to court. They had one day off. That was God's day. And if you worked them on that day, you had to compensate them. They could also lease themselves out to buy their freedom right over here in Congo Square. And the majority of that money went to the owner. The money they clawed back, they used that to buy their freedom. And on Sunday, they were off. So they would come over here if you had a trade, they could work their way to buy their freedom at the same time. Now, this is also where they practiced voodoo. Voodoo was an African religion, and a lot of the slaves came from West Africa, along with the free people of color from Haiti. In order for them to practice it, they had to mix the two religions together. It is still practiced today. It is not as big as it was in the 18th and 19th century. So if you walk into a voodoo shop, you'll see the saints on the candle, the Virgin Mary on the altar, and that's pretty much where it ends. Now, every Sunday here around 3:30, they beat the drums just like they did 300 years ago. Now, this is also where we had Jazz Fest 58 years ago, the first one. Now, Mahalia Jackson, Louis Armstrong, and Duke Ellington would start the show. Back in the day when it was free. Now it's $90 for advance tickets, $120 at the door. When we had the Rolling Stones here this year, it was $200 for the locals, $400 for y'all. The reason why is when they got on the stage, all the other stages shut down. Now, the local tickets sold out in one day. Y'all's tickets sold out in 3 days. Well, being a local tour guide, I knew where to go. I went to the St. Louis No. 3 cemetery because it backs up to the Accra stage. I didn't have anybody smashing me, okay? But my neighbor had to bring a ladder so I could get over that spiky fence because I was locked up in there, okay? They're doing the Rhythm and Blues Festival here this weekend. You know, I really loved it when you lived in Europe and they had in Germany, you couldn't honk the horn from 10 to 4 unless somebody was running into you, okay? Especially the Americans. You know, everyone loves to honk the horn here. These are beautiful live oak trees. They're constantly evergreen. Now, you won't see Spanish moss here, but you might see that brown-looking rag. And if it ever rains again, it comes right back to life again. Because it gets all its nutrients from the air. Come on, baby. Up you go. The cemetery that we're going to is St. Louis No. 1 Cemetery. It started back in 1789. It is not segregated by race, it is segregated by religion. Voodoo, Catholicism, blacks, white, free people of color, and slaves could all be in the same tomb. If you were non-Catholic, you were in the back of the cemetery, behind the wall, and in the ground. No love lost there. Now originally, the cemetery started behind the church, where the road is. In 1895, they decided to dig a road through the cemetery. So the wall that we're going to park next to is halfway the original cemetery itself. Come on, let's go, come on. Up you go. Hip, 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 hip. They're running and we're going. Here we go, I love it. Cut them off, Marie, there you go. Now, they also filmed the movie Easy Rider in this cemetery. They were not allowed to do so. The Archdiocese found out when everyone else found out at the movies. And they were horrified because they were laying naked all the tomb. The entire film crew was on acid. Since then, no more filming in the cemetery. Interview with the Vampire, Double Jeopardy, and Living Like Die was all done in the Lafayette Cemetery in the Garden District. And I don't know why the city has not opened it back up again. larger tombs you see in the back are called society tombs. Not every immigrant that came here could afford a family tomb. So when they died, they paid their dues, or before they died, and when they died, their funeral was bought and paid for. Now over here to the right on that society tomb, you see holding hands. Anytime you see holding hands, it means we'll always be together. If you see a lamb or a cherub, it means a child or baby's inside. An urn with a cloth drape over it, or a willow tree, means a sense of mourning. And if you ever see a tree log or a pillar half cut off, it means you died in the prime time of the life was cut short. And this cemetery used to have magnolia trees in it, and sweet olive trees. They used that to ward off the smell because we could not afford to embalm after the Civil War. That was too expensive. They didn't really actually start doing cremation here, not until the late 1980s, the hard Catholics, okay? Because they didn't believe in doing that, so. Now a typical family tomb is what you see right here. It's got plaster on the outside because the Louisiana brick is a pure orange clay and it rubs away in your hand. Now if you were to have a funeral, this would happen before you get here. It's got a tablet, they remove the tablet, they undo the brick beside, and they take the casket at the lower shelf. After being here for 30, another 40, there's nothing left, okay? They take the ash of the skull and they put it in a bag. This is what the Spanish do not have. In the very far back is an opening called a caveau, which we call a cave in French, or you heard the expression, he got the shaft. Still considered above ground. So now you're in the sub-basement with everybody else. They take the casket on the top, they rotate it down to the bottom, they put the new casket in, and the one they took out, they throw it away. And that's how that works. The most I've counted in one family tomb is 67 family members, because this is still a working cemetery. The society tombs can carry as low as 6 caskets to 24.